Hello my fair citizens and welcome to the Salt Mine. Today we have some awesome stories for you today. First of all, we're going to start out with some Crokeyz drama, also a little bit of smack talking, but followed up with a little bit of education. And then of course we have a little bit more tinfoil hatty nonsense coming out from Ollie Eldrazi. We have a little bit of Magic podcast action. We're also going to have a segment based on podcasts and other MTG shows that are not gameplay oriented, so you don't want to miss that. And then of course we do have Crokeyz talking about removal in limited. Now I know most people don't care about limited, but just in case you do, we'll have Alex on later to talk about that. Since MTG Vegas did happen over the weekend, there was some awesome stories that happened. Of course, we had the story of the dog, the poor lost dog that found a new home. It's beautiful, it's heartwarming. We have that. But then, of course, we have the return of Creep of the Week. Super excited to feature that. Everyone loves Creep of the Week, right? Starting off with the list, we have Crokeyz dropping the biggest truth bomb, something that I identify with so closely, and he put it better than I could ever put it. Let's go ahead and roll the clip and we'll talk about it.
If they want to try and leverage their garbage personalities to get paid in some way, which is what they're trying to do, then maybe they should have done it back in the day instead of being a bunch of boring fucking pieces of shit that made wizards basically just cut them all off and instead ride on the back of people that are playing Commander. Like, they had fucking 25 years to speak up and say something interesting. Like, they had fucking 25 years, man. What the hell have they been doing this whole time?
Ooh, that's a spicy take. I am very surprised that he actually said something like that because that's brutal. Now, it probably hit home with a lot of these pro players because either they realize and understand the truth of this statement or they're in denial. Now, I only say that is because compared to every other gaming community, when the pro players really rally together and kind of force these changes and say, hey, we're speaking up, hey, we got to do this, hey, these are certain things that we have to do, hey, if we're going to be able to promote Wizards, the game, MTG, all that stuff, we have to be more entertaining and more accepting to other newer people, and it just doesn't seem like that happened in the last 25 years. So in my opinion, it's completely understandable that WotC kind of dropped everybody, but let me know in the comment section below what you think about this particular topic. And on a lighter note, we do have Crokeyz actually coming in with a little bit of additional education on how to build a deck. So there was a lot of people coming into his chat trying to find out, hey, what the fuck's going on? How come you're not doing this? How come you're not doing that? I completely relate to that, and I'm sure every streamer does. So here is Crokeyz laying down the line, coming from an expert. Here's what he has.
Fight spell 4 of with no creatures. Dude, I'm about to add the creatures, man. I'm adding the creatures last, you fucking fool. Get some order in your life. Have you not learned by now that I approach deck building like Einstein approached his theoretical science, okay? There is order to this madness. You're not just gonna go, okay, one of these. You add the lands, the non-creatures, and the creatures. I mean, sometimes the order that you add those three are different depending on the deck, but, you know.
Alright, so the end of that kind of didn't really make sense. There seemed to be some situations to where what he was saying didn't actually apply. So what I did is I reached out to Crokeyz to try to get a little bit more information. So he sent me back a video to just kind of go into a little bit more depth as to how to make a deck. So here's that clip.
Okay, settle down, settle down. Today's class is brew order theory. I can't have you going in there just bit picking cards at random. So first up, brewing aggro. You want to start with lands, then creatures, and then non-creatures, but not necessarily in that order depending on the deck. Mid-range, you want to go non-creatures, lands, non-lands, creatures, Buckfast. Got it? Okay. For control, you want to go non-lands, creature lands, spell lands, non-lands, creatures, non-creatures, backup creatures, deep fried Mars bars. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. So in summation, we go ball bag, pish, Glasgow kiss.
That's perfect. That clears up everything. I'm glad we got that out of the way. And as for the next topic, we do have, once again, some racism going in the Magic cards. And of course, we have none other than Ollie Eldrazi, the tinfoil hat man himself. Take it away.
This card says, at the beginning of your end step, if you gain 3 or more life this turn, make a 3/3 white angel creature token with flying. Is that racist? Shovel Truther. I don't know. But anyways, we're looking for the second part. The second part says, pay white. Shovel Truther. Okay, now there's a lot of white on this card. There's 6 white symbols on this card, so. Shovel Truther. I mean, I don't know. Anyways, exile the Book of Exalted Deeds. Put in land counter target angel. It gains, you can't lose the game, and your opponents can't win the game. That's the racist thing I've ever heard in my life. Shovel Truther. Wow.
All these crazy conspiracy theories are like driving me crazy. I don't know whether to start believing them or whether to start running away from them. All I know is that they're really entertaining and I like them a lot. So if you've seen any really crazy MTG conspiracy theories, let me know in the comment section below. And now we actually have a list of various different podcasts and MTG shows that you may be interested if you're running dry on MTG content. So here are some recommendations.
And I actually got into Magic when I was working for Magic doing the tournament events coverage, where I met some incredible people. Basically everyone on the coverage team is ridiculously talented and wonderful. And Marshall Sutcliffe, who's like the main caster voice, along with Louis Scott Vargas, who's a pro player, have a podcast called Limited Resources. And if you're interested in draft, that's the podcast to listen to. And then the sweetest babies that I love so much in the world, Maria Bartholdi and Megan Wolf, have a podcast called Good Luck High Five, where they talk about all types of Magic.
And there's been a lot of talk in the Limited community about the shift and change in cards that you need to prioritize in the most recent Limited set. And of course, I had to get none other than Court of Calls to talk about this. He's a very experienced Limited player. So here's what he had to say about the whole situation.
So I want to talk about Crimson Vow Limited for a little bit, and specifically the removal spells. I've been joking that Crimson Vow has made a complete mockery out of my career as a limited content creator, because as a limited content creator, one of the things I've been saying about Limited in the past few years has been that like removal spells have gotten worse as cool creatures, like, you know, the good gold uncommons and stuff like that, and just like good common threats have gotten better. And I think one of the things I've been trying to tell people over the past like 3 sets that I truly believe is that you're probably overvaluing removal spells, and you should just like take, you know, the good build arounds, quality creatures, because you'll get some amount of removal spells. I think people have this idea that they really want to have like 10 removal spells and kill all your opponent's stuff, right? And then you'll win a game. But yeah, I firmly believe you should take removal spells first and often just jam as many as you possibly can. Anybody who has played Crimson Vow knows that this format is just full of bombs. Let's take a look at some rares just quickly in Crimson Vow. Some rares and mythics, let's just say. There are so many, just go down this list. There are so many cards here that just need an answer. Like, it's comical. It's like 70% of the mythics and rare, they just win the game on the spot if you don't kill them. And it's funny too, if we just take a quick look at the removal spells we've seen in Midnight Hunt, for anybody who's played that format, they're just like way more efficient in these like clunky 5 and 4 mana removal spells. But yet, they're they're just way more important than these removal spells ever were, because there were so many removal spells running around Midnight Hunt, not as many in Crimson Vow, and even though they're worse removal spells in the abstract, they're better in the format, and you just got to pick them early. And another thing that's kind of funny is because the rares are so good, I'm really big on you know, clean mana bases, essentially, not splashing, not having that 6/6/6 mana base, you know, 2 colors, play your good cards in your 2-color deck. Basically, consistency is better than just like jamming in the best cards you can possibly get. Again, this set making a mockery of everything I've ever said. I think you just gotta jam your good cards, because there's so many good cards. Like, this mana base isn't terrible, it's not too bad, but you know, this isn't something typical for me. But when you have like stuff like Helena and Aleta and you know, High Fart Trauma and Cemetery Desecrator coming to you, you find some way to play them all, because they're just all great cards. Anyways, that's my take. Hope y'all are enjoying Crimson Vow Limited.
Eminem, step aside. We have a new rap god. maybe? This next story is probably the most important story of the day. We have, of course, the Las Vegas dog. So essentially what happened is that they found a nice little lost dog at the MTG Vegas, so they couldn't find the owner, which was very unfortunate, probably the most unfortunate. However, the dog seemed really, really nice, and it seemed that one of the WotC staff decided to adopt the dog, I suppose. I don't exactly know how that works. I thought that most dogs were microchipped nowadays, so I assume they went through the whole process of making sure it was like actually lost, and not just lost and could be found lost, abandoned instead of lost. I don't know. I'm assuming they went through that whole process. But I tried to reach out to Light, who was the WotC member that actually adopted the dog, who actually ended up naming it Fibblethip, because Fibblethip the Lost. Fibblethip the Lost. You get it? Because it was a lost dog. Anyway, the dog is super fucking cute, super adorable. I was going to get Light on a call to actually go over this whole process, but since it was tangentially related to MTG, he had to clear it with their press department. And then I didn't hear anything after he said that. So, yeah. And for the finale, we do have the Creep of the Week. Now, unfortunately, we don't always have Creep of the Week. Well, actually, that's probably fortunate. I take that it's fortunately enough. We don't always have Creep of the Week. But this time we did. Let's see what the creep had to say.
Sorry about not saying hi. I was too shy. It was nice seeing you there, though.
This is just fucking weird. Stop making comments like this. Just stop it. Just stop it. Okay? If you want to see and talk with one of your content creators that you like seeing, walk up to them, say hello. Nice to meet you. That's what they're there for. They're there to say hello to people that say hello to them. That's what they're there for. Okay? That's what they're there for. They're not shy. You may be shy, but it's fine. Even if you decide to not do that, don't tell them that you were looking at them from afar and it was nice to see them. Just really awkward behavior that nobody is ever going to respond to. You can't expect anyone to respond to statements like this in a positive way. So just do me a favor and do everyone a favor, because you're just going to either make people cringe, you're going to make the whole situation awkward, and you're just going to look bad. All right? There's all sorts of things that nobody wants to happen. Okay? Just stop it. Just stop it.
Thank you all so much for watching. If you made it to this point, it means you either really enjoyed the video or you fell asleep and I'm waking you up now. Either way, thank you for all the support. I really do appreciate it. If you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification, come out with videos 7 days a week.